Hello, and welcome to the 8th update video for Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition. In this video, we have some big and exciting changes to go over for the project, which includes the release of an installer for easy installation and updating, a launcher for intuitive customization, and a built-from-the-ground-up stream and audio engine to fix an issue that has plagued Silent Hill 2 PC for nearly 20 years. So let's jump straight into it. For this update, the process in which you install and update packages for the project has been greatly simplified. Previously, to use Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition, you had to download all the project's enhancement packages separately, one by one. Well, today we are happy to introduce an installer for the project. This installer, which we are calling the Setup tool, can download and install Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition with just a few simple clicks. So now, when you go to the project site, all you will need to download is the Setup tool to get started. Run the Setup tool and follow its instructions to install Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition. Do note that you will still need your own copy of the base Silent Hill 2 PC game, as we cannot provide this to you. And that's it! With just a few clicks, you have installed Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition. For those who are familiar with the project, you know that it is continually being updated with more features and improvements. So what happens now when we release a new update? Happily, it's now just as easy as installing the project in the first place. After installing the project using the Setup tool, go to the game's folder and run the Setup tool found within this directory. Here, the tool will run in maintenance mode. In this mode, you can install packages that were not previously installed, check for updates for packages you have installed, and uninstall the project from here. So to update project files, simply select the Update Packages choice from the main window and follow the instructions. It couldn't be easier. With the introduction of the Setup tool, there's one important note to go over though. If you are currently enjoying Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition, you will need to reinstall all the desired enhancement packages through the Setup tool for the first time. In other words, the Setup tool will think this is a new install, even if you have previously installed the project files. But don't worry, this is a one-time requirement for those who have previously been using the project. Once the Setup tool goes through the initial installation, it will run in maintenance mode moving forward, so long as you launch the Setup tool through the game's folder. The unveiling of the Setup tool has been a long requested feature, and something we're so excited to now offer, but we're not done with the big changes just yet. In addition to the Setup tool, we are also very pleased to offer a launcher for the project. The launcher, which we are calling the Configuration tool, is an easy and simple way to adjust project settings for the game. Previously, to adjust any project settings, you had to open the d3da.ini file and change settings through here. While not bad to do, it certainly could be done better. And that's what the Configuration tool is here to do. This tool provides a clean, intuitive user interface for you to adjust project settings. It arranges features by category for easy navigation, uses descriptive, helpful titles, provides more detailed descriptions of what they do, and offers simple checkboxes and drop-down lists to quickly change settings. The Configuration tool is used to change settings prior to launching the game. Once you have made your adjustments through this tool, you can simply click the Save and Launch Game button to save your changes and jump straight into the game. And now that we're in the game, let's not beat around the bush any longer and talk about the other big, exciting change for the project. For nearly 20 years, the PC version of Silent Hill 2 has suffered from an infamous bugware. When played on a multi-core processor, which all modern PCs have, the audio in the game will eventually begin to skip, stop playing, then most likely crash your game. So, did you notice that I said suffered, as in past tense? Yes, that's right. This issue, which has plagued the game since day one of its release, is now fixed. Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition now features a custom, built-from-scratch streaming audio engine which allows the game, and its audio, to run stable on multiple processor cores. No longer do you have to force the game to run on a single core to mitigate this issue. It's, well, simply fixed. And fixing the audio to run stable on multiple cores comes with other benefits, such as greatly reducing the number of stutters and hitching you may experience while playing. It turns out that a lot of the stuttering was caused by the old, faulty streaming audio engine. The performance improvements are hard to show off in a video. It's something that's better felt as you yourself play. But there is one improvement from this new audio solution we can easily showcase. When in-engine cutscenes play, there is a momentary stutter as the game loads in the cutscene's associated dialogue audio. For this demonstration, we'll add a beep whenever this happens to better illustrate.
In my restless dreams, I see that town.
Now, with our new streaming audio engine, this issue is resolved.
In my restless dreams, I see that town.
This is just one example of the performance improvements gained by the new streaming audio engine. Do note though that you might still experience some stutters as you play. If you do, these stutters would be unrelated to audio handling, and instead caused by other factors, such as the game engine dynamically loading assets such as enemies or scripted events, while in an area. Showcasing the new streaming audio engine in this video is a bit tricky to do because, when it works, everything just sounds normal. So it's not truly painting a picture of just how important this fix really is. But believe me when I say, the introduction of the new streaming audio engine is just as important as something like the restoration of soft shadows. We've updated the FMV Enhancement pack. AI upscale technology is continually evolving, and we want to utilize the best features these upscalers have to offer for Silent Hill 2's videos. With this update, we've taken another pass at the videos to fix some of the artifacts and rough edges left from our previous efforts.
Mary?
Our goal with this revisit was to clean up the videos without overly sharpening them or haloing their edges, which are typical AI upscale results. While we're overall pleased with the outcome, we're not 100% satisfied with the results just yet. Our hope is that, as time moves on, AI upscaling will continue to make great strides and we can revisit the FMVs again at a later point. But in the meantime, we were also able to nearly double the video resolution of the last FMV Enhancement pack, while keeping the file sizes approximately the same as before. This update to the FMVs also includes a revision to how our project handles displaying them in-game. With this update, our project will correctly scale the FMVs to any aspect ratio used without having to bake in any letter or pillar boxing inside the videos. Just visit the FMV Scaling option in the configuration tool for more information. While we don't encourage playing the game in ultrawide, we know that people who own ultrawide monitors are going to do their thing. As such, we fixed an issue where the noise grain would extend beyond the boundaries of the FMVs when played in ultrawide. This makes noise filter behavior more consistent with other parts in the game. We fixed a critical issue where, if you load a game result file while in-game, it typically would softlock or crash the game. A rather quirky issue has been fixed where the game would play the wrong background music if you entered a new room and pulled up a menu while the previous background music was fading. You could glitch the game and make the chainsaw and final boss moth attack sounds loop infinitely under certain conditions. Also, annoyingly, the moth sounds would keep playing while you have the pause menu pulled up. This glitch is especially bad for the moth attack sound, as it would keep playing forever even during the final cutscenes. It literally ruined the final parts of the game. These issues are now resolved. Note that these issues are unrelated to the game's bugged audio engine, and were specific loop-in bugs relating to these situations. We fixed fading issues for specific events seen in the game. First up is the hospital lockbox. If the last lock you unlock is the turn dial lock, the game will not fade out this image, but instead abruptly change to black. This issue is now resolved. Next up is the cutscene where you find Maria dead on the prison bed. When the cutscene pans across her body, the game utilizes motion blur here. If you cancel the cutscene during this part, the game's visuals will momentarily glitch out. This issue is now also resolved. When James bends down to clear the dirt behind the statue of the praying woman, it's no secret that his hands aren't really doing anything. It can be easily seen that he's only hovering his hands above the dirt pile. To help sell the illusion that he's actually moving dirt, we place the camera behind his back so his hands are obfuscated by his body. Continuing from this, during the final moments of the cutscene where Eddie wanders off into the prison, we can see that his animation stops early and that he's frozen in place.
Yeah. Eddie?
We've adjusted the camera sweep during this part to hide Eddie at the final moments of his animation.
Anyway, I gotta run. You're going out there alone? Yeah. Eddie?
We went back and further refined some of the full screen images. The most notable changes are revisiting the background visuals of the prison paintings. For the save screen, we've made a few small but effective changes. To start, we've restored the game save sound effect when opting to save your game through the pause menu. Before, this sound effect would only play when interacting with a red square. This restored sound is beneficial in that it helps you to know that you're in the save screen as opposed to the load screen, since these two screens are very similar in appearance. Silent Hill 2 PC was released during a time where hard drives typically maxed out in gigabytes at just double digits. As such, showing available space in kilobytes on the game's save screen wasn't that unusual. But times have changed, and storage sizes have changed with it. With this update, the displayed unit of measurement for available free space has changed from kilobytes to a scaled proportionate unit. Silent Hill 2 was released in an era where controllers for consoles use pressure-sensitive face buttons. The game took advantage of this by performing different attacks and stomps depending on how hard you press the action button. When it came time to port the game to PC, this feature was ostensibly dropped, as PC controllers typically don't support pressure-sensitive face buttons. Well, actually, not even modern console controllers support pressure-sensitive face buttons, but I digress. To compensate for its removal, the PC version performs different attacks depending on if you tap or hold the action button instead. While this adjustment was a good compromise for the lack of pressure sensitivity, it didn't carry over to the stomp animations. As it stands, you will always only ever perform the heavy stomp animation. So, to bring variety back to the stomp, we've made it to where there is now a 50-50 chance of receiving either stomp animation when performing the move. One thing we on the Enhanced Edition team tried to do is watch people play the game for the first time if they're streaming it. And after years of watching, we've noticed a consistent concern with one part of the game, which pertains to the courtyard key found inside the closet at the apartments. For many people playing the game for the first time, they do not notice this key and continue onwards. If this happens, they are left wandering around the apartments, unable to advance, with no hints or guidance by the game as to where to find the key. This ultimately leads to frustration and wasted time until the player gives up and searches online for where the key is at. As a quality of life change, when this cutscene now ends, James will spawn inside the closet with the camera focused on the key. Remember, finding this key is not meant to be a puzzle or riddle, and we want people's first time with the game to be as good as possible. Lastly, some additional features that have been added to this update are general touch-ups and further improvements to various full-screen images. These are mostly minor adjustments to add further polish to the upscaled images. We fixed an issue where James's character model would become invisible in a handful of rooms if you change the game's resolution through the options menu. We fixed an issue where there was a 1 pixel gap on the left and top edges of the letterboxing created by the game for in-game cutscenes when used. And we fixed numerous text display issues for the game's advanced options menu, such as missing and incorrect descriptions when the save confirmation prompt is shown. And that about wraps it up for what's new with the latest update for Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition. This update is now available to download for you to experience these improvements for yourself. Links and information will be in the video description below. The Enhanced Edition team hopes you enjoyed the newest update to Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition. And until the next video update, we will see you around in the foggy town of Silent Hill.